Good day and welcome to spring 2025. Another campaign is finally here. Let's get straight into it while I introduce ourselves. Just how this works is is it bi-monthly for 3 months? Whatever 3 months in a row is. Every third month we get a new campaign, and this time we're back on spring, in which I think my game is slightly loud. Quarterly. What is buy? Is buy only 2? I don't know. I'm stupid. Welcome to a stupid person playing Trackmania. Alright, we have a very, very simple layout here. Ooh, bit of a speed slide at the end there, maybe. But, yeah, so it comes out every few months, and I aim to get all the overtimes, which I have already failed to get on the first map, which is nice to see. So yeah, this will definitely have a lot of speed slides. It's very similar to last season's, not gonna lie. Ooh, there's a cheeky speed slide. You don't need to do this for overtime, but if you want to get into advanced tricks, that will save you some time. Alright, so you can get trophies, you can get a new car by getting the trophies and getting the medals. Also, while we're kind of still introducing ourselves instead of focusing on the tracks, make sure to like, sub, follow, do it all. I'm on everything. I'm sure you'll find me. I stream fairly often on Twitch, and I upload, or try to upload at least once a week on YouTube. Thank you for that follow coming in. I see it on the side. Alright, a full dirt map. Oh yeah, also comment your favorite track. I will be interested to see what mine will be at the end of this discovery. Alright, pretty simple again. I mean, surprisingly, I think both of these maps are a little bit long, but they felt like they're really short. That felt like it was 20 seconds max. Alright, watch out for the gear there. Go a lot more tight here this time, now that I know where I'm going. Same here. Watch out for the next gear. A wide approach so you can end up not hitting any sand. I did have to release, but definitely possible without, and up we go. So, one thing that players were maybe hoping for was there was going to be new cars for the 20th anniversary or 15th anniversary or whatever anniversary we're up to for the Sunrise cars. But I don't think there's anything new in this update. I don't really want to get spoiled if that's the case, but I don't even think I had a game update, which I usually do. Oh, that was offer time? That was a lot easier than the other two. I guess that one, look for limited airtime and look to cut the corners as quick as possible. Again, listening to the gears. But, yeah. I mean, I played this game for 20 years, and I don't expect a lot from Nade, which I recommend you eventually end up also not expecting a lot. But there's all these people who have copium, which is fine to have. You kind of want there to be big updates and lots of content. But, yeah, I came in not really expecting too much, so from first looks, it may look like there's not going to really be anything other than another campaign, which is slightly disappointing. I still want there to be a puzzle update where puzzle gets put into the game. They put stunt and platform mode in, which stunt they ruined, in my opinion, and platform I just don't really think is really used. It's pretty similar to time attack. Alright, let's stay mid. Also on that last map, I don't know, just take it smooth, and all these first maps you just look for the smoothest lines, I think, most of the time, as they are fairly simple. And we've gone triple on the on getting all off times in a row. First try. So we'll move on. That one I didn't do very good, so you'll have to practice yourself a bit. I think that map seemed good. I just did the middle section quite wrong, which just felt very unintuitive, but I think once you do it properly, it probably is quite a nice map. Alright, some speed tech maybe once more. Oh yeah, so that was something about last campaign. So I actually liked the last campaign a lot, because I like when there's drifts and there's a lot of different lines that you can take. The thing with adding a lot of drift maps though is like it can be a bit hard, which these campaigns are for newer players, but yeah, I don't know, it felt fairly fresh compared to a usual campaign last one, which is nice to see. And I'm wondering if we're going to get the same on this one, because we're seeing a few drifts already. Also, I think I have noticed, is this a remake map, which we haven't seen for quite a long time. But I recognize his end, and I recognize the big loop around. So I think this is a remake of a TM2 map? I'm being told AO6 in chat, which would be ironic for being the 6th track, rather. We haven't had a remake in a long time, so that's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of remakes. I'd prefer like new maps when I can just go play the old games if I want to play the original. But having like one is fine. And I think a lot of people don't mind them, so having two is pretty good as well, but we'll see how many there are once we go through this bumpy, yumpy map. There's a lot of potential on this map. I already see like many different potentials. But we're not going to be able to see it because I got the off time first try. But yeah, there could be a flip in the middle of that map. There could be some low lines where you use the bumps in a certain way. But if you want to just go for off time, just look for the pretty smooth lines, watching out for what comes next. And speaking of what comes next, it is the AO8. Also something I'm not the biggest fan of, but they continue to add them, so it is what it is. And this one at least seems pretty fresh. It's quite open and seems to potentially have a lot of places to change up your line. Okay, I've missed that a little bit, but we will get this a lot smoother now. And if we land here smoothly, should have a decent run. Alright. So that low line on the second approach did work out. Not too shabby as we move to the next one. AO8s don't feel fresh. Well, in terms of it's not just a fucking straight AO8. It had something a bit more to it. But yeah, I agree. It's exactly why I find AO8s quite boring. Because it doesn't really seem to change much. Alright, a super speedy map now with some plastic. So again, if you want to get into advanced tricks early on, the speed slides on this one will be key to gain some extra time. But just for going... Are the medals easier? Have I just done like 6 in a row after I've failed the first 2? That did not feel like that fast of a run. So I don't know if medals are going to be quite a lot easier this time around. But anyway, we'll move on to this one, possibly a platform-like map after we talked about it. But yeah, I can't even talk about the maps quick enough because we're just going through them so quickly. Like this one, I think I'm going to hit first try because that was a actually decent run. But no, we talked too fast. So we can talk about this one with a fail there, which is good to see. So I'm not sure if getting no airtime here is maybe possible. Getting a low jump, going wide here. I like that these look like they have different line potentials. I'm not sure if they will end up having different lines, but yeah, you can see that was a lot slower than the first one. But should be enough. Looking at how it's gone. Yes, it is. Something also I've noticed while yapping on, these cars look really fresh this season. I'm not gonna lie. I want to change to it, but I don't know if I can change halfway through. I'm gonna try. If I can remember how to do it. Garage. And we go season 2025. And we can rock this one. As you can see, once you progress through however many you get, you unlock more skins. So let's rock a new skin. Let's just take a small breath there while we have the chance and we get back rolling into already a bit more technical than the last few maps. This one looks like we're gonna cross back over maybe. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention on, oh, that's a no steer. I chose the wrong 50-50. There was a map that had like the dirt lines and it looked like you could maybe go for like outside lines. I went for the inside because they're a lot easier. But yeah, so far the maps, for the most part, look like they have a lot of different line potentials. Which in my opinion, makes the campaign way better. Makes it a lot more interesting. And by that, I mean, there's not just one single line that you can take, and you can approach these in potentially a lot of different lines. They probably will end up being one line is the faster, but that's only because they get hunted so much. Right, even more further over. Ugh, this straight feels a bit longer than it should be. There we go, a bit better. Watch out for the chicane. Opa. Look for the middle of the arrow. This feels a bit uncalculated. Is it just me? Bit odd. Alright, we've gone from many off times in a row to our first respawning map. It's bound to happen eventually. A bit wider there and you'll gain a lot more speed. So yeah, you can use the grass to slow down, but I don't know why you want to use the grass too much in that jump section. For that part, it probably can be useful though. Start the drift early and all the way through. Yeah, a little bit half-half on that map so far, but mostly due to the middle of the map. Not a fan of bobsleigh either, but it's in the game, so I guess they gotta add it. People are like, oh, how do you do bobsleigh? And I say it's kind of self-explanatory once you work it out. You just look for the red line initially, and then aim to land right in the middle of that. It won't be the fastest strat, but it will be a consistent strat. Okay, a bit of countering needs to happen with that angle I had, and there we go. First try. So as I said, not fast, but got it first try by doing it a pretty consistent way. Oh, I already see something on this map. Yep. So, we have another remake. The remakes have come back. Oh, maybe not. We're going the wrong way. This is not the way that the usual map goes. But I think that's the only difference. brake. Is this? No, it's not plastic, so you don't want to wall ride that. That felt like a little bit of an overjump, but maybe you can do a small release to start off with. And that is the end. Was that enough off time? Was it an easier one? No. Cool. So yeah, definitely a remake of B10, B15? I don't know the numbers. Too many. I think that one, ideally, you don't want to drift. Go for the early release, but this time you have way less speed, so that was like way too much of a release. This one you can do a little bit of a left-right to land a little bit lower. And easy finish. 13. Okay. That was a bit off then. Okay. We're now playing some Royale. This is quite rare for campaigns. Oh, actually got the low jump. This is a sick first round. And that gear was not great though. Use this wall ride. Let me have another one. A bit higher, but that's fine. Ugh. So the thing with these maps is they always seem to have bad gears because these plastic blocks are quite rough, and they have plastic bug landings right on cue. So not sure if I'll be a fan of this map. From initial reactions, without there pretending there isn't any bug landings, this is a sick map. But yeah, I'm not sure if there will be a lot of bug landings or not. We went a lot higher and we kept the speed this time. So maybe that's the strat. That was too sharp, but it'll do for now. Yeah, that's a cool map. I like that. But yeah, a bit concerning. I was going to say, this end is going to ruin me hunting this map. But there is a convenient checkpoint to try and practice a bit, which I recommend you guys use. Alright, quite tough to get that last one, unfortunately. I probably am a bit unsure about that one, but other than that, really nice map. For a bit of a lower line. As long as you don't turn, seems to work alright. One thing I will recommend is, I have them binded, but maybe you don't even need to bind them. But yeah, changing to camera 3 on these type of maps, especially with RPGs like this. You change your camera quite early, and you kind of reset by switching between camera 1 and camera 3 when you land and right before you go for the stunt that you're about to do. And yeah, that will help a lot with RPG type maps. But yeah, there are auto camera changes on that map, but I found myself even doing it before the camera changes. The only point of that is that if you want to try and change it, like I try changing it quite early on the landing. Is this another remake? Have they just gone only remakes this time around? Except if it is a remake, it's a very funky one, no? Okay. But that start was exactly the same as a multi-lap. But this is all different. Ooh, okay, so it's 1 lap, but they've utilized it as 2. Or are we going back the way we came now? Okay, it didn't even look like we're going back the way we came. That's cool. I like that idea. But yeah, with the cameras, it's like I try and do it quite early, and when you land, I've switched pretty much immediately. And when you have camera restrictions, you sometimes can't do that, but just as like a idea, get into a bit of practicing of changing cameras early. That was tactical, by the way. A little bit lucky, but I gambit it. Okay, start the drift really early. At least a lot more than that. Ooh, that was a bit of a weird camera change. I initiated another auto camera. Okay, this one's going to be quite tight because you have the grass. That's really poor, but we're probably going to get enough for an off time. So that was a pretty good run outside that one mistake. No. Okay. So, off time, super easy to start off with, but then they have gone to where you will need to practice the maps, which is good. I mean, I understand why they made the off time so easy on the first ones, but I feel like they're a little bit easy. Like, you want people to learn. Are you really learning if you give them something for free? Alright, up we go. Bit of a wide line, so we have a lot more speed for this now. Start the drift early, cut it a lot more inside. That wasn't great, but we'll take it. Aim for a fairly high approach. Start the drift really early, cut it low this time. Nope, still fail. Classic, still not enough. Super wide. All that start, gain a lot of speed here. I think if you go a lot higher than that, you gain more speed for this section, but for now it's fine. Only do that in one. Okay. Finally got the grass to drift for me. This last section with the extra speed is quite tough. Alright, as usual when we stall we end up with a good time. So, sneaky good time there as we move on to some of the hard maps now. Give me a full grass map. Not quite. Gamble how much drift I needed there. That's an odd turn. Assume we want to be on the ground here. Use your brake a bit if you need even more steer angle. Okay. Not sure about that map. Bit boring. Understand why they have it. Kind of changes up the pace a bit, but these maps to me always feel out of place. Not sure if I like that downhill. Speed this part. It's probably going to be a funky way to try and... No, actually not reduce it. Get more airtime and you will be able to gain a lot of extra speed. Alright, let's get off time now that we've practiced a little bit. So yeah, scout these maps out on your first few runs. Try different approaches. And then you can ace it. I think that's... Yeah, there's some airtime. I think that's a lot faster. But yeah, some people like will ask, oh, how do you do these so fast? And obviously it's experience, but if you try and learn the map pretty quickly and not respawn, I think personally, like, oh, that's a great gear I just got. I'm not sure about that map. I guess it probably works once you get a good run going, but I'm not really a big fan. Yeah, just keep practicing from the checkpoints and it will help a lot, in my opinion. Fancy dirt map. So far though, I'm not gonna lie, this feels like a pretty good campaign. Lots of different... Like, the last campaign, as much as I said, as much as I liked it, like, it felt like fairly similar across for the most part. This has felt quite different in terms of every map. Not that different to other campaigns we've had, but so one also thing that I feel like they should change up is they seem to do a thing where, like, AO8 is always this downhill map. Number 19 is, like, always a full speed map. I think this is 17 or something, it's always a dirt map. They should just do whatever they feel like they haven't covered, instead of always needing to do what they've done in the past. Try and change it up. You're not going to innovate if you're continually stuck doing the same thing. And that's kind of what this feels like to me so far. Like, it's a good campaign, but I'm not super drawn in yet. I don't know what you guys feel like, but nothing's like, oh yeah, this is going to be a great campaign for me to continue hunting. It's just a good campaign. Speaking of good, that was a good run there. I'm kind of surprised we nailed that. Just look for the next corner coming up, and for dirt you want to kind of sweep your angles quite early and already be onto a entry for your next section. Hang on, chat. Hang on, guys. Do we finally have a sausage tech map? I just talked about there not being much difference. And something that has never been back in the campaign is a sausage tech map. Oh my god. Is this going to be a banger? Now this is a draw card to me. Okay, a little bit PF-y there. Maybe we get a cool section here for it. Now, I will say, the beginners always say these are their most hated maps, but for players who have played a little bit and want to put a bit of time in, these have got to be the best maps if they're made well. But because they're hard, you don't see them in these campaigns. So I'm kind of excited. Is this going to be a banger? I'm unsure from the initial preview. Okay, that one was a lot longer than expected. Because if these are mapped well, I think sausage tech maps are like some of the best in the game. But they're extremely difficult to be mapped well. All this, though, so far seems really nice. As much as I'm failing, but it seems learnable. and utilizing every part pretty cleanly. I may have a map that I want to hunt. This looks like a fun one. I use this to start this drift early. No airtime here. This turn is probably going to be one of the hardest, but worked out not too badly. Use this drift. And then this one, also quite a tough one. Yeah, that seems like a really well-mapped sausage tech map. Finally. It's been so long. It's been so long. I'm pretty sure we have to move back to 2021 to find a tech map which was sausage base that wasn't using reactors and full speed. Because, yeah, you guys would be like, yeah, there's been plenty of sausage maps, but they're always very boring because they always have a lot of PF or a lot of reactor, which does help, as I said, for the beginners, but sometimes you want something a bit more advanced. Like, I feel like maybe it shouldn't be map 18 or 19, whatever it was. Oh, we still have ice tires here, so watch out for that. But in a way, that does help you drift a little bit. Are we gonna one-shot this map? That's pretty rare for a red map. Sometimes the map just blends well with you. Have we first tried that? I mean, I'm only 2600th. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't know if I've ever one-tapped a red. My start was really bad though. Maybe it wasn't. But yeah, intriguing what other people think of that map, because if you're a beginner, you can like have your opinion that it's terrible to play. Like, I'm fine to hear that. But I don't know, it seemed really well mapped. Like, even as a beginner, it'll be difficult to get a good time on, but I think like it's a nice map to learn how to do sausage, because every section seemed to flow into the next. Same as this map. These two maps are really good. These have been, I talked about the campaign being a bit subpar. These two have been quite nice. Not sure at the start of this one, but other than that. Also, seems like a little bit of a harder AT. If that was not it, though. I tried going for airtime there just to see if I could get it. Alright, start the drift really early here. Speaking of drifting, can I do this without drifting, maybe? Okay. Ooh, that was a lot of time gain. So you didn't have ice tires by doing that, which gave you a lot better of an angle. That's super wide. Ah, dear. Rip. Okay, make sure to hook that. You get the speed out of being a bit sideways on a dirt block with ice. This you can full speed. Get a better angle now that I know airtime isn't possible. As I said, start this early. Couple taps of brakes. Yeah, this is really nicely mapped. This is a banger of a map. I'm not sure whether you want the grass there. You in general don't. That's a really bad last turn, but should be enough. And with those kind of edge blocks, if you're towards the bottom of them, then it's like it will lose all your speed because you're really hitting the edge. So you probably don't, but yeah, lots of potential on that map. Those two, really nice. Let's see if we can get 3 in a row. Not like that. This is a bug slide. Okay, cheeky. Okay, this campaign went from very subpar to being, like, quite intriguing. I just had to talk about it. Ooh, okay, set up for the bug slide there. Okay, I'm not sure about these wood sections, but... everything else seems like it's going to be fun. Okay. Yeah, I literally talk about the map as not having that much expression, and then these 3 maps were, like, really well made by the looks of it. Nice end. Okay, how inside can we go? Okay. Felt fairly slow compared to what probably is possible. Be middle or bottom? Yeah, this one will definitely require a bit of prac, but I think the checkpoints seem pretty well placed. Okay. Middle. I never know how to do those wood bug slides fast. I think that's where this map is going to be decided. A little bit higher so I don't hit this pole. We've missed the angle a little bit, but we'll keep going. That worked. And one final one. Okay. Funky. Wow. That... I literally was saying, like, this went from, like, I'm not at all interested in this campaign, but we stepped ourselves up in the red. Nice to see. Let's see the blacks now. Oof. Is this going to be a techie map? Interesting start placement. So now we have returned to that similar kind of vibe of 21 always seems to be a tech map. These are super difficult for the beginners, but usually a fairly nice map. But I mean, I think if you're a beginner, if you can reach the blacks, because there is one controversial thing where now you have to unlock all the golds or all the off times or something to play the blacks, which I'm not a fan of either. You just aim for the golds, or even if you can't do that, just kind of practice the maps with these checkpoints, and it's a very long map. There we go. And just try and aim for the golds, and I think that's a pretty good achievement. Because these are quite a step up. Now, how much can I remember this map? Is going to be the question. This may go from a fairly quick, possibly... I've had to cut up like a lot of maps in early stages in the previous few videos. Or campaign discoveries. And I'm not sure if I'll have to so far today. There was like one map we stalled on. These look like they could be a bit tougher. Fairly good so far though. Missed that one a little bit though. This time I want to go on this side to set up for this corner. Oh, no way. Possibly would have been all the time. Let's just practice the rest of it just in case. It is extremely long. I'm gonna say there's a cut here if it isn't blocked off at the start. Classic stalling at the start. So wait until you hear that gear and then you can pretty much go for a drift. This corner's a little bit odd. It's not in full speed. Start this just before the ramps, I think. That was not really it, but we'll use it for now. Slow, but again, just keep going for it. I don't like that the checkpoint is in the way there. One thing that they seem to do every single campaign, no matter what, is put things in the middle of the road. And people don't seem to ever know what that means, because it always happens, no matter what map you're playing. And by that, I mean literally anything from signs to poles to checkpoints, like in this one. If it's even a little bit in the road, I don't like it. That's an unlucky airtime. No, Iku, how are you? And Marco, how you guys doing? Because my way of looking at it is, if you're on the outside line, you're probably not on the correct line. But and you're going to be slower anyway, so you're punishing yourself by being on the wrong line of a track. But you shouldn't be punished by being denied the space of the track. So as expected, this one taking time. Very difficult map here. So yeah, this one's just all about putting the time and effort in. Let's try a bit different here. Start that, and then show it a bit later. Okay, not too bad. A lot quicker. And then now this time we go for the inside. Yes, I don't like the block they've used for the edge there, but other than that, it works a lot better with the inside line. We have held that, so that will be enough finally. Nice map, 38th in the world. You can tell I like tech. But I like it just because there's so many different ways of doing that, in my opinion. I mean, that one feels a little bit more restricted because there's such tight angles, but overall, whereas full speed is just hit the speed slide as early as possible and you will gain speed. But every different style has different abilities and different play styles. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be on the road there or not already. It's going to be a bug slide. Interesting water. So this is just a mix map. This feels like a map 24 or 25. Really? Back to the water again. I think you can brake tap here for extra speed, but it goes tighter, so I guess maybe you don't want to do that. That's definitely an outside line. Yeah, I think you stay on like kind of a wool rad strat there, if that makes sense. Okay, I mean it worked. I'm not sure if that was fast or not. Just look for the no air times here. I'm not sure about that transition. Other than that, this map seems really nice once again. Okay, so you can release and it helps with your angle a little bit. I was going to say, that's a good run. Wow. That's a pretty rare fast run. I think that was my third run. That's very rare. But, I mean, when you see a good map, I feel like it makes it easier to play. As simple as that. And that did seem like a fun map. So what about this one? Oop. Wait. Huh? Wait, what? Why is the ice there? I'm not sure why the ice was there. Okay, I'm not so sure about this map so far. Feels a lot more boring to me so far. Sure if that was a full U-turn or... In the end, okay. I don't want to watch it right now, sorry. I have this discovery to do. Hard steer. That will lose all the gears, fantastic. A little bit higher. Maybe not. I was really high on like all these maps since like 17-ish. I am not sure on this one. That kind of sucks. The map like standard like went really up, and now I'm not sure about this one. I'm interested to know how many people prefer maps like this compared to a normal map. Because, I don't know, to me they feel very... I don't know the word. I was going to say unintuitive, but it's not unintuitive because there's a lot of tactics to this. Finding the right transition, making sure you have the right angle. I went for an outside line here. Yeah, definitely possible. While we're on a bad run, can we... Yep. I'll definitely go for that in a full run. I'm not sure why that's mapped like that then. So old gear. Go for the outside. And down we go. Ooh, we did hold... Oh, no, we didn't hold the gear. It just lost it at the end there. Damn it. Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be any funky business once this eventually gets hunted properly. I have no idea about this end. Because I feel like you don't want to get any grass. Weird map. I don't think it's bad, I don't know. Just feels like a step down. But I think it is pretty well mapped for what it is. So maybe it's just a my opinion thing, I don't like it. I try to be pretty neutral. I mean, it does set you up to be on the outside, so... Tried a bit higher of a jump that time, but still very unsure. Yeah, I don't know about that map. It's good, but... yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think. I think for what it is, it's mapped very well, which is the main thing. Nice. Nice. We're just committing. Gonna go for some fancy tricks. Okay, very transitional in this, in the black series here. Which I know beginners won't like. Quite different to usual. I have noticed that these feel a bit more TMGL-y, which is good and bad, because TMGL maps are very good quality. but campaigns, I don't know, should feel like that. I'm really unsure about this here. So yeah, just use the checkpoints to practice and this is going to be a 100% rate of me missing on good attempts, isn't it? Nothing funky can be done there. We have hit it. I was nearly sure we missed that. Really uncertain about this middle section. Don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like the map in general so far. Like, I don't know, they went from like really well-made maps to just kind of doing whatever the fuck they want. Which is fine, it makes it unique, but by doing that, sometimes it doesn't make a good map. .52, that's pretty close to world records, so... Yes, I know I missed a checkpoint before anyone says anything. A lot better this time. I mean, this section's all nice, but yeah, from here, I don't know. We got the no airtime. It requires a lot of focus. I think that's enough, though. What do you mean? Ain't no way. That was a good run as well. I feel like that would have been top 50. I feel like that was only a second and a half away from world rec, which is good. And no, I didn't do that on purpose either. Hello, Kongzilla, welcome. We are doing well. Good luck on the first 10. Maybe you'll buy the game and play the rest of the campaigns. I mean, you don't actually need to buy the game to play more than 10 maps. There are tricks to it, but I think if you're wanting to play more than 10 maps, then you should just buy the game, you know? Ooh, that was good. And then we have a wider line so we don't get airtime here. Okay, now that we're playing the map more, it does really work well. And that's what I expected. Like, it's a good map. Ooh, that's a good time. 14th. Wow. That was a decent run. Happy with that. Thanks for clipping that. Thank you. clip that fucking 14th place instead. Fantastic. Alright. Last map. Felt like it's gone fast, but I have been playing for an hour 10. Which is like a standard for like a shorter run. Since I've missed that. Fantastic. I normally don't clip. Yeah, but you clip that. Fantastic. Okay, a lot of speed. That's a nice approach I just did. I mean, I just followed the sign. That sign is really terribly placed. You do not follow that sign in the slightest. It's going to say, is this a multi-lap? No. Kind of looked like we're about to go into a multi-lap there. Only one multi-lap, and it wasn't even a multi-lap. In technicality. So 2 remakes. 1 multi-lap that isn't a multi-lap. And then probably 2 or 3 maps which were... Mate. This looks like a prime setup. Gonna take too long for a nosebook. Definitely possible though. Alright, hard steer. Speaking of hard steer. I hope hitting the roof here is not possible. That's really slow, but just get another run in. I don't like this double jump start. It feels really badly built. Not gonna lie. I don't get that. That's a better start. And no airtime. Beautiful. Air brake that to get a nose down. I was going to say, maybe the wood is a full hard steer to set your angle up, and it did seem like that was the case. Bit too much airtime there, but not too bad. Bit too much on the drift, but we'll take it for now. Lower airtime possible, use as much of the boost. I started the drift way too early, but it's fine. Wasn't quite sure if I was going to get the nail angle or not. Now we're not. That's unfortunate. Now we can go for nose bug. Nope. Still none. Yeah, this map's really good, other than the start. What the hell is this start double bounce? I don't like that. But yeah, I was very uncertain about this map from the very first playthrough, but once you hook this with a low speed, this is a really nice map. Just smooth line, you can see how much that gains. Low jump there, also gain a bit. Ah, damn. Gonna see how much low airtime you can get here. I think the outside line there seems a lot faster. I'm not sure how much I can push that. Alright, that's enough practice. Let's lock in. Ooh, nice. This time I might not even need an air brake. Do we hit? Okay, we don't hit. I don't know if the lights are possible to get hit, because it looks like I do reach that height. That was a better angle. This one, not the greatest angle, but we'll just take it. Yeah, I think you can definitely do that a lot faster. That's too much air time. But for the time run, should be all fine. Now it is not fun. No, I want a nose bug. I think that's a safer approach than going more on the inside, and it's very fast, so probably just recommend go as tight as possible there. Something I have noticed, if you go for an air brake here, you don't get the angle. But lights and Monka? Yeah, I don't know if I hit them. I feel like I should have hit them, and I haven't yet. So I don't know if they actually have a hitbox. That's nice. Pretty wide there, but that means we don't get airtime. Averaged pretty badly on the second half of that sector. As we're ahead, we'll keep going. Finally hit that line after a long time. It's really, really good. That's like nearly perfect. Oh my god, speaking of perfect. Damn, that would have been a nice run if I had the good start. But that was like one of my worst starts. Alright, me going for perfection on a discovery run. Probably shouldn't, but there we go. That is it for this campaign. This map, yeah, I like. I don't know about the start. It feels a bit odd. This section's really nice. I love this start. Up until this, there's something really annoying in this map. I don't like the... with the approach that you have to get off of this. Interesting. Didn't notice that. You get airtime here. Like, I feel like this should be mapped. I mean, it needs to be mapped like in the middle, which isn't possible. So, kind of a little bit iffy on that. This is all nice. There's a gear in the middle here, which is a bit frustrating. I hope that doesn't actually cost too many runs. This I struggled with a lot, but it's fine. All this is good. All this is nice. This is really difficult to get, but if you get it, like I just got, it's really nice. And yeah, bit of a boring PF end, but I think it's like one of the only PFs in this campaign, so that's a massive plus. Usually there's so many PFs, which is a breath of fresh air to not see in this. Alright, the overview. I was really like subpar on the campaign up until map 14 here. I was like, the map's good, but really nothing at all that I want to get back into. 14, if there's not bug landings, that will be a fun map to hunt. I'm a bit ashamed that the cameras are a little bit late compared to like how I prefer to change cameras manually, but I think that quite often happens. 15, 16, 17 were a little bit in my opinion. They're fine, but I don't know. 16 especially just wasn't really that interesting. But then 18, finally a sausage tech map. Finally, and it feels like a really good one. I hope I'm not gonna throw my words out, but it felt calculated, which is rare, and if they are calculated, it's really sick. Then 19 was a really well-made map. 20 was a fun map. A few people, or at least one, I don't know if it was more than one, said that that's the map that they're already hunting, and I can see why. I presume people will be interested in hunting the bug slides, but even the bug slides are made well. Like, they seem like they're calculated well, which is all you need. 21 super difficult, but really good map. 22 kind of average-ish. It's a good map, but nothing too special. But number 3, I don't even remember 23. 23 was the odd. Was that the odd scenery one? Yeah, this one, I don't know. I want to know what people's thoughts are on this map. For what it is, it's really mapped well, which at the end of the day is all that matters, but I don't know. I would prefer like a map like 19 in 23 spot. Like, I feel like 25 is kind of similar-ish to 19, and they just feel like way better maps. 24, kind of interesting. I got a sick run on it. And then 25 took me a bit longer than expected, but I was going for a good time, so that's probably on me. But yeah, 25 worked well. Other than that one like transition I talked about after the wood. So overall, fun. I think this is a really good campaign. I think last campaign was good, and I want to say that this is also going to be a good campaign. I'm intrigued what people think. I will say, it's nice to have a good spring campaign. If you don't know, for those who are still watching, which is probably no one, I have made better spring campaigns in the past because they were crap. Especially 2 seasons ago. I think this one was like really bad, if I remember correctly. So I made a better campaign on this one, and I think I also did it for 24. If you are interested. Was it 24 I made it? I think maybe 22. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. It's in my club if you want. But yeah, I think that's enough yapping on. That was a fun one. I will also say I probably don't need to cut this one down too much, which is different to compared to the last few seasons. The last few seasons have been a bit longer and a little bit more difficult. But because these are really solid maps, like I felt like I could get them within 10 or so minutes, so I'd be interested to see what everyone else thinks on that as well. Because honestly, at the end of the day, if they're good maps, then it's a good campaign and they're funner to play. So let's leave it on that note. That may seem obvious, but I don't know. It's sometimes they go for a different approach, it might not work. Sometimes they hit it, and yeah, so. Anyway, that will do me. Hope you had fun watching, hope you enjoyed the campaign yourselves. Not that I'm involved, but it is every 3 months, and it's a fun time to catch back on it. Till next time, like, sub, follow, do it all. I'm on everything. I'm sure you'll find out in the description or wherever you want. But until next time, see ya, smile at someone, and have a great day.